Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another cooking video. Today we're going to be making chicken and potato soup. I'm super excited about it. I have some leftover rotisserie chicken from the Thanksgiving weekend and lots of potatoes to get through, and it just sounded really yummy. So let's make it. On a side note, I did not have a soup pot, so I bought one specifically for today, but I will obviously use it more. It's the Pioneer Woman from Walmart. It was $30. Something easy and fast, and it's super cute. So let's put it to the test. Let's see if it makes some good soup. All right, so I have all my veggies here on the counter. We have carrots, celery, green onions for topping, onions, and the potatoes over there. So I think we're gonna get all of that chopped up. And while we're doing that, I want to bake the bacon. That's how I do it. I don't really wanna do it in the pot. I wanna take out that bacon fat. So I'm gonna cook it in the oven on some foil, obviously on top of the pan as well, at 400 for about 15 to 20 minutes or so until it's crispy. I don't know where I learned this, but my family's been doing it for years. It makes it super easy for cleanup as long as you're just taking the bacon off and not ripping any of the foil. You can just easily take it off when you're done after the fat has hardened, and it makes it all super easy to clean up. So I think I'm gonna fill up this pan. Some of it will go into the soup, but I'd also like to save some for topping on the side as well. And then you always have to eat a piece when you're baking it too. Okay, so I washed 6 potatoes. The recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of potatoes. I'm just making it up. It's probably about 1.5 pounds. And then 3 stalks of celery and 3 carrots. So we will get to chopping. We're going to chop the carrots, celery, and onion first, so we can get that in the pot and start sauteing it and kind of getting it nice and cooked. Our veggies are chopped and put in the pot. I'm gonna turn it to medium low. I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in here. It does call for butter if you prefer butter. I prefer olive oil personally, but we'll go ahead and get this frying up for a couple minutes to kind of get it all softened, and then we'll start adding in all the other goodies. Okay, the potatoes are cut. The veggies just now heated up, so we'll start getting that all mixed together. The bacon is in the oven. Now we need to make some chicken broth. We need 5 cups chicken broth. So I just have chicken bouillon cubes that I'll put together in a pot and make some chicken broth. I ended up using 6 cups of water. 5 didn't quite seem like enough. I want it to be a soup and not so much a stew. So 6 cups of water, and I'm gonna put in 4 of my little chicken bouillon cubes. We'll bring it to a boil, get it all mixed together, and set it aside. So the veggies have been simmering for a couple minutes. They look to be about good. So now we're going to add in some minced garlic. I say go with how much garlic you'd like, so I like extra garlic typically. 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire. And then a half tablespoon of all your seasonings. So we have ground mustard, oregano, pepper, parsley, and then this is Lowry's multi-purpose seasoning. We're gonna mix that all together now. It smells so freaking good. The mix between this and the bacon, ooh. I decided, because this is my recipe, I also threw in a little bit of smoked paprika to give it a little bit of a smoky flavor. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm sure it'll be tasty. Now we are going to be using some butter, just about a tablespoon, because we're gonna be throwing in, I make this gluten-free, so cornstarch instead of flour. So I'll do about a tablespoon of cornstarch. If that doesn't work, I'll add a little more later, but we're gonna make a roux so that when we put in our chicken broth, it helps thicken it, so it becomes more of a nice soup texture versus, oh, this is liquid. The chicken broth is not coming to a boil like I needed it to in the pot that I had it in. So I went ahead and put it in the soup pot. We're going to bring that up to a boil. Everything is semi-mixed in and the bouillon is pretty much gone, but we'll just give it a second. Then we add in the potatoes and we simmer for about 20 minutes or so until they're tender. We will also add in the chicken, probably with the potatoes, just to make sure that everything's yummy. All right, so that's about up to a boil. Now we need to add in 1 cup of what's supposed to be half and half. but we eat mostly dairy-free. So we're gonna put in some unsweetened almond milk. I say we're mostly dairy-free because we'll be putting some cream cheese in here a little bit later. But almond milk will work for this recipe as well. So when we mix this in, it should give it a yummy, creamy looking color. Oh yeah, we're gonna start coming together now. This will be good. Oh, I'm scared of this part. The water is boiling, so we're gonna throw the potatoes in and simmer on a medium heat for about 20 minutes or so until the potatoes are nice and tender. And I think we'll throw the chicken in about halfway through. It's already overcooked typically when it's a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store. So really all we want to do is heat it and then maybe add a little bit of moisture to it. So in about 10 minutes, we'll go ahead and add in the chicken. Things are slowly starting to come together. The bacon is done, so we'll go ahead and put this on a plate for a few minutes to cool down. Then we're going to chop it. And then just before the soup is done, we're gonna throw about half of the chopped bacon in the soup. And then the other half we'll just save for topping on the side. So the potatoes have probably about 10 minutes left. So we're gonna go ahead and add in the rotisserie chicken. Again, I just had a leftover from a Thanksgiving weekend. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of shred it up and throw it in the soup. So this has been simmering and the potatoes are just about done. So we're gonna add in a little bit of bacon, probably about half of what I have here, just to add a little bit of flavor to it. And we'll save some for topping on the side. And I'm gonna throw in some cream cheese as well. I'm gonna do the remainder of this container that I have and then probably a little bit of a block as well. I lied to you, I'm so sorry. We had this at Thanksgiving and it is my new favorite. It's a garlic and herb spreadable cheese. So I'm actually gonna throw a little bit of this in there instead of adding additional cream cheese. All right, everything's mixing together. The cheese just needs another minute or two to fully melt, but let's give it a try. I'm a little worried for some reason, I don't know why. It tastes so good. Maybe a little bit of pepper and salt, and it'll be ready to eat. So I tried it off camera because a friend came over, so we ate it together. It was so good. It was super heavy. I only had one bowl, which is like a scoop and a half from my ladle, but it was so filling and so delicious. It was maybe a little salty. I think I had too much chicken broth in there. So maybe only do 4 cubes instead of the 5 that I did. Other than that, it was delicious. The potatoes were cooked nicely. The chicken was heated up and cooked nicely. So it was kind of moist again, not so dry. The veggies were cooked nicely. I put some bacon and green onions on top for some garnish. It was so delicious. Thank you all for taking the time to watch. I hope you try this recipe for yourself sometime, and I will see you in the next video.